Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Venkat. I'm the head of engineering in JustLogin. And I'm here to introduce a new persona of Justina that we have built recently called the Knowledge Hub. In continuation with what we saw just now, Justina can actually do a lot of stuff based on the data collected from the HRMS, your leave information, your OT information. It can do a lot of stuff. But what about other forms of knowledge? And that's where this Knowledge Hub comes into the picture. So before I proceed to explain what this feature does, let me take a few moments to actually run through a few challenges that we all face day to day in our businesses that help us to drive to the development of this one. All right? So this is the challenge. Every business, every organization has a lot of knowledge in different formats, right? Like files, in the minds of people, in the systems. So there's a lot of knowledge that exists within the organization's scope. But this knowledge is scattered across, different divisions, different silos, maybe even through different tools, right? Some people use cloud tools, some people use certain other places, some even in the local machines, right? So information is scattered across a lot of areas, right? And if you have a question, a specific question, you will need to find that information from the, the load of files that are available. And even if you manage to find the information that you need, the piece of the puzzle that you need, that might lack context to understand things in totality, right? So finding a piece of information doesn't mean you have the knowledge or the understanding of it. Plus, you throw in people into the mix, things get complicated. People need to wait for approvals to share some documents. Sometimes you ask a question to someone, the person might have an interpretation of something that might not actually be accurate. So the answer given to you might not be the right answer. So in a nutshell, knowledge exists in organizations, but answers don't, right? So given that this scenario, right, I'm gonna take it a little bit further to showcase how this knowledge conundrum here actually impacts a few scenarios in our day-to-day life, okay? One example, let us take our beloved HR teams, all right? HR becomes the default help desk because HRs have a lot of documentation, and HRs usually put the documents in a safe place and then share the link to the team, all the employees. And the employees conveniently will lose the link to that and ask trivial questions to the HR. Right? And HR ends up answering all those questions, every day. Another example, someone new joins your organization, okay? Now, if you want to bring this person up to speed on what's going on, you have two choices. One is to buddy them up with someone, maybe a colleague, and then spend hours and hours of training hours to get them up to speed, or dump on them all the documentation that you have and just pray to God that this person understands the structure of all the documents, they find what they need to learn from the documents and get up to speed, right? Third example, compliance gets complicated. Compliance thrives on following protocol. I go day in, day out, I do step 1, 2, 3, no problem. Suddenly one day, I encounter a situation 4, which is not listed on my day-to-day activities. So what do? I panic. I need to now search for the documentation regarding that, right? Where are the annexures regarding the complaints? Where are the appendices? I need to find all that. Next, someone leaves your organization and they take away the knowledge that they held within the organization, and you lose it. And of course, people may counter saying that, oh yeah, I get the handover documents from them. But let's be honest here. Handover documents from a person already on an exit mode is like a brain dump. And it usually goes there and it sits in an unstructured place, and it gets lost. All right? Finally, you ask one question to 2 different people in your organization. There's a very good chance you will get 2 different answers. Which one would you choose? Right? So these are some examples of, what might happen if you can't access data, or there's a lot of information available and you don't know what to do with it, right? So that is why we are launching Knowledge Hub, a new persona of Justina, all right? So Knowledge Hub, in simple terms, what it is it's a central, secure intelligence layer that sits inside JustLogin, okay? It feeds on the documents that you share to it. It digests it, and then through the conversational interface of Justina, it actually gives very targeted, personalized responses to your questions. That's what it basically is. All right? So how does it work in day-to-day activity? So you can just proceed to go to JustLogin, then you upload your documents. Okay, it could be any documents that is relating to different policies, procedures, your manuals, handbooks, anything. You just upload it in. Okay, so that's the document ingestion part. Followed by that, you let us do the magic. We digest the file, we index it, we try to understand the context and meaning out of it, and then that is when it sits inside the knowledge hub. Once it has processed, it sits inside the hub. All you need to do is launch Justina, use the conversational interface, and then start asking questions. That's basically it. All right? So let's take a look at it in action. So this is our JustLogin software, familiar UI, familiar UX. So you have the left side menu, you got the knowledge hub over there, and over here on the right side, very simple interface, you just got 2 buttons. You can add a folder to categorize your list of files, and then basically add in the files. That's it. Okay, let's do that. Assume that you are a HR administrator. I'm going to take the HR example here for this case. So I'm going in, I'm going to add a folder here called HR policies. Once I add it in, you'll see the folder there. There's a number 0 over there saying that there's no files in it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drag and drop a 30-page HR handbook. All right. So once I drag and drop it there, I choose which folder it should be uploaded to. Then, this one is interesting. Who should have access to this file? Should I share this to just a few employees, or should I share this to every employee? So I choose all employees because this is the HR handbook. So I choose public, and then that's it. It proceeds to upload. And over there, you see the file name, the uploaded date, the sharing policy. I've chosen to share to all employees. Then the AI chat status. This is where the indexing happens. The part where I said that is going to actually proceed to digest the file and index it. So on the back end, we have engines running that actually does chunking, vectorization of all the information, and then puts it on the back end. Following that, you see that once the status is ready, all you need to do is chat. That's it. Just launch Justina and proceed to chat. So let us continue our example. So as a HR, I've uploaded the policy document. As a new employee, the person comes in and tries to ask silly questions. Okay, so let's not trouble the HR anymore. Let's just ask questions about the policy here. Let's start simple. I'm going to ask a very simple question here. I hope people on the back can still see the text. If not, I'll just voice over. So the question that was asked is my working hours flexible? And then Justina came back with a response saying that, yes, your working hours is flexible, blah, blah, blah. Then the core working hours is 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., etc. So you see over there, the last line says sources, the HR handbook Singapore. That is the file that I just uploaded. And if you see on the right side, this is a screenshot of section 3.1 from that file. Okay, it actually has a lot of information about working hours, and this is where it took the data from to show it there. It is worth mentioning here that the content you see has the same meaning, but the text is not like for like. It's not the same text, but the meaning is still there. All right, so it paraphrases to match your question, and with intent gives you the answer. All right, let's have one more example. Silly question again. Can I take sick leave during my probation period? All right, again, it goes in. And the answer comes out like this. Yeah, you can proceed to do that, provided you meet these following criteria. And then again, on the right side, you see section 6.7 from the handbook that I uploaded that says something very similar. So you see the sources there points back to the same handbook. Okay. One last example of a simple case before I go to complicated ones. Whom should I contact to make a grievance report in the organization. All right? I ask this question, enter. Straightforward. It says, number one, reach out to your superior. Escalation point is the head of the department, then is the CEO. All right? Again, source is the HR handbook. This is the content from the file itself. Here, it is worth noting how heavy the content is. There's more than 10 points over there. Every single step has multiple points, but it has summarized the whole content into just those 3 points over there. Okay? So that is the capability of this Knowledge Hub. All right? Now, let's go further. Slightly more complicated cases. I'm going to ask a question that says, are there any policies relating to CCTV that I should be aware of? Again, you get a response. Nothing special there. But what is special is that on the sources, you would find that there are 2 files, not just 1 file. So what that means is the content at the top were taken from 2 different chunks from 2 different files, okay? So what had actually happened is the first point over there that says CCTV is primarily for safety and loss prevention is from the handbook that says, as an employee, you're subject to being recorded in the CCTV for the safety and all those purposes. While the rest of it, you can already see that there's a slight change in the tone, what's the retention period, and so on. So the point here is, multiple sources, you don't need to go and search for them separately. It can collect together, search multiple files together, and give you the answers in one shot. Okay? Let's take it a little bit more complex. For this use case, I'm taking a retail example. Okay? The example goes like this. Let's assume you have employees working in retail, you have outlets in all the malls, and then your employees are going there to sell stuff. Okay? At the top is a document that I've uploaded earlier. It's a retail operations store management SOP. It talks about what you need to do when you open a store. Okay? It says there needs to be 2 staff that enters the store, disable the alarm, turn on the aircon, do blah, 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 all that stuff. Then there's a compliance playbook at the bottom, totally unrelated. Okay? It's a different document at the bottom. It purely talks about what are the roles and responsibilities of a cashier, supervisor, and a store manager, okay? Unrelated to us, right? So let me ask a simple question. What is the procedure to open a store? Very straightforward question. It goes, picks the details from the SOP document and shares it again here. 2 staff enter, switch on the lights, turn on the air cons, blah, 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 all that, all right? Now, let's twist it a little bit. I'm going to ask, can I open the store alone if my colleague is late? And look at the answer that it infers. The procedure for opening the store requires that 2 staff members enter together to disable the alarm and follow the opening sequence. Therefore, you should not open the store alone. If your colleagues are late, it is advisable to wait for them or notify the supervisor. The point about notifying the supervisor is not there on the SOP. Okay? It is there on the roles and responsibilities document on compliance that says supervisors must review exception reports and ensure operational blockers are removed. This is an operational blocker, right? So they are supposed to be doing something here. So you see the sources, there are multiple files here. So I guess you all get the idea here. This is not just search. It's not just a chatbot. It is intelligence, right? It takes meaning over keyword hits, all right? It takes the meaning of it. Cross-document synthesis, you actually proceed to ask questions regarding anything. If there are hits across multiple documents, you still get the answer across the multiple documents. There's access protection. People who have access to certain files will have access to the knowledge from the files. And the other way around, if they can't access the file, just now when I uploaded the file, I could choose who has access to the file, right? If I don't give them the access, then it means that they can't access the knowledge. So if I ask a question about a file that I don't have access to, I will not get the answer about it, okay? So it's access protected. Plus, throw in the organizational context. The data you are getting back as a response is not generally trained. It is trained specifically with your own data, your organizational data that you have just uploaded, all right? So the organization context make it very customized and personal for your organization. Finally, This feature I'm not shown here, but later I'll talk about it, is called Knowledge Leaders. What it does is you will be able to delegate ownership to certain employees in your organization to own certain data. So you can make your HR manager as a HR knowledge leader and let them own the process of uploading files about HR, updating the files, revising it, and so on. And you can make one other person from IT department as an IT knowledge leader and give them the responsibility of dealing with that. So you can delegate the ownership to different areas and different people through this capability. All right? So I would like to pause here and then compare this to certain other similar things that are available in the market, right? So, in simple terms, you can do a word search. You can put your files on the cloud, and then you can do a search there. Not same, because we are looking for meaning, not words. If you're looking for meaning, of course, we have custom GPTs out there, right? You can build your own custom GPT, throw in all the files there, ask questions. You're going to get NLP answers, very relevant answers. But then, how are you going to share the relevant files to your employees? That's where the organizational context and the access protection comes in. This is purely built for SMEs and organizations to use it for business, right? So let us see, if you were to use this software, this capability of Justina, where all can you use it? Example one, governance and compliance. You can upload your protocol documents, you can upload all your policies into it and ask questions about it. Training and development. Yeah, you can upload your slides, you can upload your product catalog, product guides, service catalogs, your PDFs that has all the content about anything that a new joiner should learn. You can throw it there, and you can get your employees to do a self-directed learning rather than shoving it down their throat. So that's what this is. Operations, so SOPs. Any SOPs and manuals that you have, you can also upload it here. It could be like retail manuals, like the example that I just showed, that is also an SOP. What do you do one step at a time? You could do that. Financial commercials, and also legal and risk. They are closely related. You can do stuff like uploading contracts, agreements, NDAs. You can upload all of that, of course, with access restriction. And what that will allow you to do is you can ask questions like, when was the last time I engaged with this vendor, right? It can find the agreement that you had with this vendor or a contractor. It can give you some information about it, all right? So you can do that. And finally, the handover takeover scenario. Your employee leaves. Virtually, you can still have the employee present in your company through Justina. You can take a brain dump. Doesn't matter how badly structured the content is, Justina can still digest it. And it can still answer the details. So in a nutshell, that's what Knowledge Hub, along with Justina, does. It allows you to upload files, give relevant accesses, and then shortly after that, you can then ask questions, all right? So this product is right now in beta phase, and we are actively looking for signing up a lot of beta customers. As of today, we do have demo booths on the other side of the hall. Feel free to walk over, try this feature out. I have my colleagues over there, so we do have some sample documents uploaded. Ask away all your questions to try this out, okay? And if you're interested, please do sign up for the beta. And from there, let's see, from just knowing where to look, let's see whether we can elevate you to simply knowing. Thank you.